Prashant and Dr. Dinakar for this opportunity.
One
Uh,
second. I think yeah, recording has started. Recording has started. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir. Shall I
yeah,
introduce, sir?
yeah.
Shall I
So
introduce?
I have the pleasant duty of introducing to you some topics that you are actually familiar with, but more from the operational point of view. The outset, I'd also like to apologize that I'll be leaving this meeting early because of a prior commitment. I'm going to share the experience that we've been doing here in Karnataka using a telemedicine program for ROP, reaching out to the neonatologists, that is you. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about these questions that Dr. Dinakar allotted to me. So, what is the importance of ROP screening in the periphery, that is the outreach, and how is it being done in the periphery? Is it different from doing it in a center, maybe in a city? Then we'll move quickly to laser for baby, even though I'm not sure how many ophthalmologists are in this group, but you all have to know this because we are treating your babies. Which laser to buy, the cost and the maintenance, and what is the approximate cost of treatment in the center and in the periphery. So the reason why we need to first of all screen in the periphery is a majority of the babies today, out of the 3.5 million preterm babies that are born every year in India, majority are now born in the rural areas, especially in the special newborn care units. Ever since RBSK came up with this, and this is just Government of India data that's been extrapolated. Every 2 hours in our country, I think 3 babies are expected to require treatment, not even screening. And it is estimated and probably underestimated that about 1 lakh to 2 lakh babies are going blind every year because they're not being treated on time. So germane to treatment is obviously screening, and screening with less than 200 ROP specialists spread across the country, that too most of them in the bigger cities. It's impossible to reach out to these babies in the rural centers except through telemedicine and innovation and imaging. So that's the experience I'm going to share. So what is it to the so-called ROP specialist is looking at a baby through the indirect ophthalmoscope. It is rather subjective. He draws in your file. You are not really sure what findings he or she has reached. And there's no way to actually get educated or teach the parents what those images or what the disease looks like. As against wide field imaging, which is, and I'll share with you how India has taken the lead on that, which it can be done even by non-physicians, that is trained technicians, nurses, even pediatricians have tried it across the world. And of course, those images are now a objective measure of what disease there is and how it can be followed up and even outcome to treatment. This is a very old slide, but I haven't changed it just to show you that the method in which we do the screening in the periphery or the outreach really hasn't changed, except that technology has changed, and I'll share that with you. So you need a camera, and these are special cameras that are required to take the baby's retinal pictures, especially because it has to be wide field. We all know that ROP pathology starts in the peripheral retina, and unless you have this camera that can reach up to the periphery, it's of no use. So a regular fundus camera that you've seen your colleagues, ophthalmology colleagues use for adults is not, it's of no use. Then the camera is taken inside the NICU, and here you can see some male nurses that we've trained. This particular picture is being done in Bagalkot. And then these images are being uploaded on a telemedicine platform. And right from the very first version of the iPhone, that's the picture, the video on the down right, from then onwards, we have the ability to look at these images online. And within a few minutes, the report goes back, and the parents are counseled right there, even before they leave the center. So that's really the process. Over these years now, we are in about 127 neonatal intensive care units across many zones. So the idea is if you want to screen in hospitals around you, that is NICUs around you, you have to create a sort of a geographic zone. We've divided Karnataka into 4 zones, and each zone has an epicenter. And from there, you just need one camera, one vehicle, and a few trained people who will move out every day. So they go out to the periphery, screen in a few hospitals, and come back. That could be within that town, within the district, or outside the district. So that's how the timetable is mapped, and that's how we've covered the state. So that's the basic infrastructure that's required. Now, we should be proud that probably India is the very first country in a national guideline level to allow wide field imaging to be an alternate to indirect ophthalmoscopy. So even while the West is still grappling with this problem, we've really taken the lead. And not only that, in this guideline, it says that non-physicians, that is non-ophthalmologists, that is trained technicians, can also take these images. So now you have some sort of validity and accreditation coming right at the national level. So this is just a photograph, and this is a day in the life of the program. These are trained technicians. They've been certified, so there's no legal issue, and they are trained to not only take these pictures, but also make the initial diagnosis. So the triage as to whether this baby needs treatment, needs follow-up, or is completely normal is done right then and there. And the neonatologist there is informed. It's entered into the file, and information is provided in the card to the mother. Now, I was supposed to touch on treatment. So how is treatment done? Now, about 2% to 8% of Karnataka babies with ROP require treatment, and that's our multicentric data. This is, of course, much better than many other states. So let's go with an average of 5%. So 5% of babies require treatment, and many of these are critical. They cannot be transported. They are incubator dependent, and you know all the problems that they have. So there you have to make facility for either the ROP specialist to reach there. So in the beginning of our program, I've had to travel across the state to do the treatments. But right now we have this network of retina specialists whom we have trained both on-site and remotely. And despite other centers not directly in collaboration with your NICU being part of this program, we take responsibility. So if the baby is under our screening program, we make sure that they are treated properly by the local specialist. We monitor this outcome of treatment through imaging, send back the feedback to the retina specialist, and so on until we ensure that the baby is fine. So you have to create that network of the ophthalmologist close by. If you don't have somebody in your district or in your taluk level who can do the treatment, well, then there are always ways to safely transport the baby to the closest higher center. And that center could be a district hospital or it could be a tertiary care center. So that's really the important one. So I know there's going to be a whole section on this. I'm just going to touch upon our experience with some of these cameras. The first video that you showed, which I said, is a slide from 2008. That's the American camera that used to be the gold standard, and it's imported. It's about 100,000 US dollars. And the company got acquired recently. So we do have some issues with maintenance of this equipment. Some of the older versions, they are not supporting. Nevertheless, it's a fantastic tool and it's wide field. But as you saw, it is the size of about a small refrigerator. So it does require a larger SUV. Now, Forus Health, which is a Bangalore-based company, and their CEO is going to be your subsequent speaker, partnered with Government of India, and we were happy to be the clinical partners here, where we validated their device. So we've seen several iterations of this, right from a prototype to the current device, and I know they are constantly improving this. Now, how does this compare with the RetCam? So that actually is a publication here. I know the print is small, but needless to say, it's smaller, it's more portable, it's as wide field. It's a single body. The RetCam, on the other hand, you have to attach and detach the lenses each time, and therefore it's heavier. The Neo camera is much lighter and so sits easily on a baby's eye. It is designed for the first 3 to 4 months of life. So a year-old baby, a 2-year-old baby, you do get optical reflexes, and perhaps they'll come out with an attachment for these bigger babies. But as of now, you can think of it as a very specialized infant camera, and more so for the retina of preterm babies and for ROP screening and retinoblastoma as well. So they also use some innovation there in terms of the lens. So it's a liquid lens. And the illumination is not the older halogen, but a more modern LED. So in all these ways, there are technological advances, and it was not reverse engineering. There are others also. So these are not actually newer cameras, but newer attachments, I would say, to your cell phones. So here is somebody using a regular iPhone and attaching it to one of those bi-armed devices that sits on the baby's forehead, as you can see. Well, the disadvantage of this is you need to have some skill to do this, because it's like doing indirect ophthalmoscopy, but with a phone. And secondly, as you can see from these images, it's not wide field because it's just as wide as your 20 diopter, which your ophthalmologist use. So that's really the limitation. It's great for photo documentation in the office, in the OPD, but not so much for telemedicine, and it's not integrated into a telemedicine platform. This is another version of it from a group from Ahmedabad. They call it C3 fundus camera. Again, it uses your native phone, but the advantage here is that it's slightly more pliable, the lower limb, so you can reach up the periphery. So here are pictures where they've actually compared with the Neo, and they say that you can reach to the mid periphery or the periphery. It's akin to an ophthalmologist doing an indirect ophthalmoscopy with scleral depression. So that's what it is, and it's useful, but it does take a little time to get used to. Now, if you all are worried about the future of imaging and ROP screening, I just want to bring your attention to this CDC guideline report of our program that was done by the Australian government. It's out there for you to read, but it basically says that if you don't do imaging and you just go back to indirect ophthalmoscopy done by inadequately trained people or not certified people, it can lead you into medical legal issues. And we know that the court cases in India have gone up to 1.8 crores and probably going upward now. So there are at least 6 cases that have gone against pediatricians, and one of them has gone against the ophthalmologist as well. So one has to be really careful about that. Finally, I'm going to end with which laser. So the gold standard that you read in your textbooks is the diode laser, which is the 810 nanometer. It used to be invisible. That's the invisible spectrum. But over the years, now India and all across the world, we've moved to the green laser. It's the same thing that your ophthalmologist friend use for diabetic retinopathy. There are several advantages. As a neonatologist, the chief advantage is that it will cause less pain because the penetration is lesser. It doesn't go that deep. It's much easier to see, so you don't over-treat, and it's much more portable and easier to use. The treatment in our country is done under topical anesthesia. You don't need general anesthesia. That would be a luxury. So we would prefer to do it where we have a pediatrician, neonatologist, or at least a pediatric nurse. So we love to do it in the step-down room of your NICUs. If that's not possible, then in tertiary care centers, we do it with our pediatric anesthetist on standby. Nevertheless, since we are really poorly equipped to take care of, in terms of resuscitation, we must have some sort of neonatal support close by, and that's the advice you must give your ophthalmologist. Also, sick babies can be treated. Here is, long back, Dr. Dogra showed it from the PGI group, and this can even be done today, and we've done it here also in Bangalore. So a sloping wall is required. So don't wait for a sick child to become all right enough for ROP screening or treatment. It's usually too late because the sickest babies have the most severe disease. So you can treat even through the incubator wall. And finally, if those who are looking at investing in this technology, if I buy a camera, what is my return on investment? Although, as a clinician and as physicians, we think of return of investment as the blindness we have prevented. But people who are in this for making it a viable model, well, let me say that the universal screening guidelines that have come through RBSK and coming through Ayushman Bharat are now mandating that every baby be screened for several conditions. So including eye conditions, and this was a very small paper which then became part of the national guideline, and you can see that here about 1,000 babies were screened in Bangalore City in a government hospital. These were term healthy babies, and the abnormalities that we picked up just open our eyes to the fact that maybe we can use the same camera for universal screening. So that is, one is the service angle, one is the legal mandate, and then the third thing altogether is the return on investment. So if we talk costs, other than this impact that you're saving that much blindness, the simple cost of a device, as I told you, the American camera is about $100,000 US. The Neo camera is between 15 and 20 lakhs, sometimes a little under, depending on the GST. And the laser itself, well, it goes from about 10 to 12 lakhs to about 35 lakhs, depending on the Indian one or the imported one. All of them work equally well if they're 532. And cost for screening. So, the Vitreoretinal Society of India and the Indian ROP Society has tried to come up with some sort of average cost because there's so much variability among cities. So roughly between 750 to 1,000 rupees is considered a screening, a decent screening charge in a private hospital if you're doing it through wide field imaging. And treatment, well, about 12 years ago, the only treatment cost that was published in Indian Journal of Pediatrics was $300 US for ROP laser. Even if you just use that, we're talking about 21,000 rupees. So roughly right now, ESI and some of those CGHS reimburse about 15 to 20,000 per eye. That's the highest bracket. So it used to be about 5 to 10,000 an eye, but now I think 20,000 an eye or about 40,000 for 2 eyes, between 15 and 25,000 an eye is what is roughly charged. There are some metros that charge up to 40,000 per eye, but I'm just giving you the average costs and some sort of validation on why those costs were picked. So that's really what I have to say, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so Dinakar, sir.
Prashant.
Yes, sir.
Excellent talk as usual. That is the reason we have put from legend's mouth. It's a very good talk. Very nice. Whatever we asked, this thing he has this thing. Sir, one small question, sir.
Yes, please.
Which is the best? It is over actually. People who wants to open the hospital only, they are here. Number one. To tell you very frankly, how much laser suppose if you want to do in the periphery? So we are using the 4S machine. So we have diagnosed it is ROP is there, pre-threshold or something. So it has been diagnosed, but we are in the periphery. We don't have the ROP, what is it, the laser therapy machine. But if you will ask the doctor, he will tell the sir, say, send to our center, we will do. But patient is not ready to go.
Yes.
How much it will cost? The machine, sir.
The machine. So I think buying the machine is the easier part. Training someone to use the machine is the harder part. Even among adult retina surgeons, so I have the statistic for that. We have about 20,000 ophthalmologists, 2,000 retina specialists, and 180 people in the country who do ROP screening. And 97 of those, in their own admittance in a survey that we conducted, say that they are comfortable doing lasers. And this is across the country. So yes, there is an acute shortage of people trained to do lasers, and that is unfortunately why anti-VEGF injections have started to become very popular, because they are easy to give and it requires less skill and it can be done even inside the NICU. And that's not the purview of this topic, but your question is, yes, there are no straightforward answers for that. You have to make an arrangement with an ROP specialist to either come to your center or transport the baby in an ambulance to do the treatment and bring it back. So, well, that's unfortunately the reality, and that's what's happening across the country.
Yes, sir. Sir, suppose if you want to buy the machine, machine.
It's about 15 lakhs. The Orolab one costs a little less. The Iridex machine, which is what most people use for even diabetic retinopathy. So your retina specialist will not have a big problem buying it, because he knows that other than ROP, he can use it for his DR work also. That's between 15 and 20 lakhs. And it depends on the model.
Okay. Sir, one more thing. Is it in the when we go to the market and this thing, they are telling there are two color this thing laser will come. One is green and blue or something like that, or blue or red. Is there any difference, or only is there which one to buy for a neonate, or what is the purpose of that color?
Right. So the color is the wavelength. I had a slide on that. That's 810 nanometers is the infrared one, and the green one is 532 nanometers. I think without any worry, you should buy the green laser. It has several advantages. That's been published as well. The biggest advantage is that it causes the lesser collateral damage. So means that it will only ablate the ischemic retina and not cause the deeper scars that the diode used to. So that is one big advantage, therefore less pain, easier to administer, easier to train people to administer it also, and much better portability also is better.
Okay, sir. Sir, so you told green is better, and usually around 15 lakhs, something around it will come. Sir, correct. Do you know any Indian thing it is easily available? Any company, sir?
Yeah, no, I'm not talking. The Arvind Eye Care Hospital, they have a ophthalmic equipment series called Orolab. They make everything from intraocular lenses to lasers to slit lamps to literally everything. So their laser is the one we also have. It's very good, and that's the one that I was talking about. That's the Indian one, and that's good.
Yes, sir. So is it feasible service? Everything is good, sir?
Yes, very good. It's very, very good. We have first of all, it's a very sturdy device. Unless you drop it, nothing's going to happen to it. Even in the heat of North Karnataka, we've had problems where the overheating happens in the laser. So all we have to do is put a small, table fan underneath the laser between babies. That happens when you're treating 2 or 3 babies on one day. And then it cools down, and about 15 minutes, it's fine. We've never actually had an issue with the console. The thing that gets spoiled is the head, the indirect ophthalmoscope, the fiber that connects what your ophthalmologist wears on the head to the console. That if you don't coil it properly and you sort of push it into the bag, it can snap inside, and that's expensive. That's about anywhere between 85,000 and 1.5 lakhs to replace if you just snap it, and that can be easily snapped. So one has to be trained how to use it, but touch wood, nothing really happens.
Okay, sir, one more thing. Now, just we are in the periphery. Imagine, sir, we are starting the hospital in the periphery. So I think so the three netra, whatever the trinetra or three netra, whatever it is there. So do you think legally we can use it? Number one, this is the question. Legally we can use it and we can transport the things to this thing. Can we use it and can we buy it?
Absolutely. So in terms of legal validation, firstly, they have CE, they have FDA, they have competed with open tenders where government institutes have bought it, including Karnataka state, Kerala state, Madhya Pradesh state governments. So I know these three governments have bought it because we have trained the nurses there. So for sure, legally, if the question is legally, there's absolutely no problem. Secondly, today there is, as I showed you from the National Operational Guidelines for ROP, wide field imaging is now considered as alternative, if not a better method of doing ROP screening. So now you have a clinical validation, you have a legal validation, and now you have a financial validation also to use it. So it's used.
Yes. So we understood, sir. Just I will conclude because many people who are there here, they're all telling, sir, we understood. Can you conclude? So Trinetra can be used.
Yes.
So the images can be stored and sent and taken the better this thing in case if the specialist needs any image, we can do it. Number one. Okay, number one. Number two, after doing it, even in case if the laser is necessary, the laser machine will be Arvindo Eye Centers, they are doing it. So we can contact them and we can buy from them. So it is a study machine. So second thing, usually the cost will be 15 lakhs. So we can negotiate because for the periphery, because you have already started the kid drop and you are preventing really the blindness. So that is the things. So you told. Second thing is green light is better. It's very good because pain is less or anything. Suppose, sir, do you think you have seen in the periphery after doing the ROP any legal things, any legal actions against the doctor because his intention is good, not to do the money, but any legal actions have come against the periphery doctors? If it is so, what type?
No, so the 6 cases that we are aware of, all of them have happened in the cities, tier 2 and metropolitan cities, and they have happened only because the ROP screening was missed. I think if ROP screening is done, there is no question of negligence. See, no one wants you to guarantee the success of treatment or the success of the outcome of ROP. But if the neonatologist has failed to either get the baby screened or prove that they referred in time for screening, that's when the issues come. So there have been no cases against neonatologists in the periphery for missing ROP. For doing ROP. Whatever has happened because of missing ROP.
Okay, sir, it's very good, sir. And one more thing, do you want to suggest for any hospital opening doctors, anything you want to suggest? Really, you want to suggest from your art because you are really preventing the blindness in the kids.
So these are
anything you want to suggest?
Neonatal hospitals, is it?
Yeah, neonatal means delivery and neonatal hospital who wants to open in the periphery, because I have seen one X place baby has come to our some X hospital. So before it comes, it will die. So to prevent all those things, the NMR people are after finishing the fellowships, they want to start, but there are so many hiccups are there. Like, oh, who will do the ROP first thing? So Trinetra is there. Then who will come and do the laser therapy? You told training people are less. So sending the patient to the periphery, the cost will be very less because some hospitals do charge 25,000, 20,000. We don't know. So usually government people, how much they are charging, sir?
In government, the lasers, when I was in PGI, the laser was 300 rupees. But those are subsidized central government institutes. I'm not really sure how, but it should not be more than about 5 or 8,000, because that is what the state government probably
5,000 or 8,000 rupees. Is it per eye or per setting or both the eyes?
Per eye. There is no sittings in ROP. In ROP, one completes the treatment in one sitting, unlike DR. So even the payout from the government also happens per eye, not per sitting.
So per eye is almost 8,000 rupees. So the charges will be there. So suppose if they will come for the second time, because at a time some people are not like very expert to do it.
No, it's not that. Sometimes you have to purposefully keep a area back and not treat it in the first sitting because of many things. So that second sitting, ideally one should not charge the patient. We don't do it in our center, but you should try to avoid it and make it like a package, saying that you treat once and then the second treatment is also covered under that package.
Yeah, because I heard that some hospitals are charging 25,000, 30,000. Patients are running and coming. Sir, they charged, and our own sisters, baby, our own sister means not mine. This thing, nurse papa sister, baby had become a blind, even though nurse. So the ROPs, they have come back. So some doctor was not there. Developed 25,000. That is the reason people should know also how they should charge accordingly. They won't be knowing how much to charge. Even if they will start the NICU, their owner, they should know. That is the reason people are seeing. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Sorry, I asked you questions because really it is worth for the questions for the hospital owners.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, hospital owners should consider this because it's a good return on investment, especially if they're doing universal screening. When you're doing hearing screening and so many other things, this eye screening is left out. And we have trained nurses to take these images, so we can, even nurses inside in your NICU, neonatal hospitals can be trained to do it.
Sir, is there any last question? Is there like Lions Club, Lotus Club? There are so many clubs are there who are donating the blood, who are doing the charitable work. Do you anything like this trusts or charitable things are helping in the ROP things, or any knowledge? Just you understand my question?
Yeah, I understood your question. So actually, the CSR activities, many of the CSR activities, they have outflow for infrastructure, and many of them don't mind buying a camera so long as the party who acquires the camera takes care of the maintenance cost. So I think that is one. Otherwise, no, there are Lions and Rotary have not typically got into childhood blindness. They are still doing mostly diabetic retinopathy work and cataract work, to my best knowledge.
Yeah, because because why I am asking is we kept these things for the many hospital owners or partners who are there, because they will be in a different subject. They won't be knowing what is this. People, they will collect the money for the saving the life, but not why ROP 8,000 we don't give. 3,000, 5,000 they won't give. We will give for the ventilator only 3 days, they will tell. So is there any organization specially? That is the reason now you told only one organization is there. Please, because of your influence and because why we are not pricing you, we are not pampering you.
I think we lost his connection. Well, Orbis International does fund equipment in the peripheral areas. That's what I wanted to say. But they do more capacity building. So that is probably one more organization.
Yeah. So delegates, if you have question, quickly you can ask Anand sir. So because he has got another sessions which is waiting. Sir, you have another 5-10 minutes, sir. Anand sir.
Yeah.
3
okay.
minutes. If questions are not there, then we will close it right away, sir. Delegates, if you have any question, you can unmute and you can ask. Yeah. Yes, I don't see any questions. All right, sir.
No,
thank you very much.
Prashant,
Sir,
Prashant, one small thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, he's having a weightage in the ROP field and in the neonatal eye field because he is a legend. Legend means we don't call everybody legend. Only one person, like an emperor. Many kings will be there, but emperor. So he has to somehow jump into bringing some organizations to help for the ROP. Wherever the periphery is there, he can organize. He has to take this one. It's only a request from our side, from neonatologist side, Dr. Anand.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you.
Work together with NNF. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please. Over to Prashant.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful session as usual.
Thank you.
And thank you for accepting with such a short notice, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye, sir. So moving on to the next session now, about the prevalence, issues, cost, benefit. We have Mr. K. Chandrasekhar, who is the founder and CEO of Forus Health Private Limited, which Anand sir was specifically mentioning. Forus flagship products are Trinetra, a screening device for a common eye problem like cataract, diabetic, retina, refractive problems, corneal infections, glaucoma. It's already being field deployed in more than 2,500 locations across 36 countries. Today, Forus Health has 5 products in ophthalmology space, and its digital imaging and cloud-based portal enables easy interface to the telemedicine, remote diagnosis, workflow, and easy access to the data. So Forus Health has received over $18.5 million funding from Marek Investors, Accel Partners, IDG Ventures, and Asian Health Funds. Prior to founding Forus Health, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar was a director of strategy and software partnership at NXP Philips Semiconductor. So Mr. K. Chandrasekhar is an alumnus of BITS Pilani and Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. So now I invite Mr. Chandrasekhar, K. Chandrasekhar, to kindly start the session. Sir, Chandrasekhar sir, on behalf of NNF Karnataka State Chapter, a warm welcome to you, sir. Please start the session, sir.
So I have with me my colleague, Mr. Venkat Krishnan, who is the Chief Technical Officer of Forus. He's the one who has designed most of our products. So what we thought was Dr. Anand Vinekar has given you a fantastic overview on what ROP is about, the prevalence, and why we need to screen every baby, and what we have done. Right. So, and I am, on how we designed and what is the next steps, Venkat will probably explain. But I wanted to basically touch upon few points and to start with. So, basically, the product which Dr. Vinekar also showed in comparison with what was available in RedCam, which was made by a US company, we almost brought the price down by 5 times. The second important thing is generally, Indian products don't find markets in Europe or US that easily, despite the fact that getting a CE or an FDA. But I'm very proud to say that NHS, which is probably, even American companies adopt Indian products comparatively faster, but European doctors definitely take more time to adopt. But I'm very, very happy and proud as an Indian to say that NHS has adopted Forus Health. And in fact, they have completely moved out of the American product and moved exclusively to Forus in the last 18 to 24 months. And we have more than 20 to 25 installations across NHS in UK. And also, one of the oldest eye hospitals and most reputed in France called Curie, they have also adopted our technology. And similarly, major countries in Latin America, Asia have started adopting our technology. So we have already crossed more than 200 installations across almost 20 odd countries. And the biggest advantage what we bring to the table is it is all completely done in-house. So the Atmanirbhar, what the Honorable Prime Minister is talking about, we had implemented it almost 4 or 5 years back. And thanks to clinical support from Dr. Anand Vinekar and team, we were able to design a product which is far more superior in terms of technology, in terms of cost, no compromise, and then also it has proved its sturdiness in terms of support. And you talk to any major pediatric ophthalmologist, he will vouch for this kind of support what we have provided to them over the last 3-4 years of the existence of the product. Now we also, when Dr. Vinekar was also talking about the initial use of the device on neonatal babies, but we are also coming up with the next version, which will be available with CE approval sometime during February, March timeframe, which will also do fluorescent angiography, and it will cost around 20 lakhs, but it will 20 to 22 lakhs, but it will basically be useful for even older babies. So, and it is also, so that product is probably the world's best specification, which it will be there. So we have, and also we are building artificial intelligence. So I would basically ask my colleague and the CTO Venkat Krishnan to talk about the technological differences, what we have done, and how the product is very unique, and how it is built rugged. And then I can again talk to you on the usability, how we have done. Venkat, probably you can talk about the technical on both the Neo and the Neo HD and the AI part of it.
Yeah. Thanks, Casey. And thank you all for joining this session. So there are 3-4 key things that are very important in the design of such a neonatal retina screening system. The first and foremost is that it has to be as wide angle as possible. So because most of the symptoms or this starts only at the edge of the retina and then starts to come more into the from the periphery into the central region. So we need to have a really good wide angle camera that can do about at least 120 degree. So which we achieved in the first generation of the Neo camera that Dr. Minekar was showing. So going forward, we have learned that we would like to see if we can increase the field of view even further to go further. And now the current generation, the next generation that we will launch starting from December, January time frame in a month or so will be 135 degree field of view. So with a single image, you will be able to see almost to the edge of the retina to see whether there is any ROP symptoms that have started to appear. So that's one key thing that we have done with respect to the optics of the system by learning from the first generation. And the second major functionality that we have started working on based on the insights that we got from the field is to have fluorescein angiography at an affordable cost. So the some of the treatments that have become more popular, Dr. was also mentioning about anti-VEGF, also to do before a laser treatment. Normally the practice is to do a fluorescein angiography to see where exactly are the blood leakages in the retina region. So the fluorescein angiography is extremely important, and the key is to see how to make it work with the normal fundus imaging and do a fluorescein angiography at an affordable cost structure. So that's the whole thing. A device like a RedCam that Doctor was showing earlier, the first slide, that costs almost 1.5 times the price of a normal fundus imaging. So to bring that kind of a technology into a small form factor and make it happen is somewhere where we have really succeeded now, and we want to really looking forward to launch that. The third thing is key that we have tried.
Do you have any slides, sir? Chandrasekhar, sir?
Yeah, we have.
Hello?
If you can give me
because
show some pictures when Venkat is talking.
Yeah, because people are messaging me that if there are any photos and slides and videos.
You can show that, Casey? Yeah,
I have. Can you give me access?
Can you play it, no? Because they want to see when the sir is speaking.
Sir, can you give me access? Because I have not got the access to put my...
No, you can directly go to open share tray. That is the third icon after video, audio.
Trying to open, but I'm not getting, sir. It's not
one second. Which you are who is opening now?
I cannot see any slides.
Yes, sir. That's why I told them. Venkata Krishnan, for you, I need to give an access.
No, give to Chandrasekhar.
Go to Chandrasekhar. You can give to Chandrasekhar.
Swami.
Anviti Singh, can you give access to Mr. Chandrasekhar for slide sharing? Sir, can you do now?
Not yet, sir. It's still not got.
Or can you WhatsApp to Anviti Sheikh? She can do it. Yeah.
I'll email it to her. Can I email it to her?
Right away, you can email, sir. No problem.
1 minute. I'll email. Venkat, you can continue. I'll just quickly email to her.
Yeah. So I was mentioning about the two first things, the wide angle, how wide angle the image is. The second key thing is adding fluorescein angiography to the device capability. And the third important thing is to ability to screen from a preborn baby to an adult. So the capability of a device to image at any age is a very important, because it's a big investment. And if a need arises to image a bigger baby or after some period of time, it should not become a limitation that we are not able to do the screening. So these three plus what we have also done is we have taken a latest cutting edge CMOS camera technology, which is just about a year and a half old, to integrate into the system to give the best image clarity that is possible. So these are the innovations that we have done on the device side to make it really compact, relevant and useful for the ROP screening. And as Casey already mentioned, the device is 1/4 the size of what a RedCam is. It's very small and it can be carried in a suitcase, simple one suitcase. And everything compacts and fits into that, and very easy to do to go from a satellite center and do remote screening, and then again go back to next center. So it is a small suitcase in which everything fits in, and doesn't require any special packaging arrangements to do the transportation as required. Is extremely robust, and Dr. Vinekar has been using 8 of our cameras in ROP kit drop program across Bagalkot, Ballari, then Gulbarga, all the North Karnataka plus Hubli. So all these places have the cameras and being used in the field almost on a daily basis. The first generation product. So one of the new things that we are also working on in the second generation, which is about to be launched in the coming months, is also to work on an assistive artificial intelligence model. So what this does is, whenever the images are taken, mostly it is taken by qualified nurses and technicians, mostly by nurses in the neonatal unit who are trained to operate this and then other. And so what it helps is, moment the images are taken and it is a case is completed, immediately the AI runs in the background and gives the first level analysis of what it sees as a potential risk condition for ROP plus disease, and also if there are any symptoms like retinoblastoma, which is the tumor in the eye, and any other conditions like hemorrhages or something which might need a more detailed examination and if needed intervention. So the first level assistive AI is something that runs without the need for internet. So that's what we are working on. Almost all the AI systems that run in the world need internet, because they are usually hosted on the server side, and you need internet connection. But inside a neonatal unit, it will be very difficult to have that. So from the beginning, we are working on some system which will run on the local machine itself and give an instant result within a minute of capturing the images. So that would be something extremely useful to flag which cases might need additional attention from an expert, from an ROP expert or even a retina expert to visit or to take the baby to that site. So this is one of the models that we are working on. The first versions are already running. So we want to make it more detailed, and we are taking the help of specialists like Dr. Vinekar to fine tune it to give some even more accurate result, which is more reliable in terms of sensitivity and specificity for the common neonatal conditions of the eye. So this all will be combined and run as one package in a solution, and this is kind of the best in class specs that we can get on a neonatal camera anywhere in the world today. So there is no product that can beat this specification. Either they don't have fluorescein angiography, or they can't screen all the babies, or their field of view is much lesser than this one. So and also one of the big advantage of our camera system is there is no attachment, and you don't need to detach anything. And most of the time when you use in the field or when you take it transport, you have a system which you have to detach and attach again. There is a lot of possibility for dust to enter, and in a very important optical systems which are inside, if you expose them too much to outside, then there is a lot of dust will come in, which might appear like a hemorrhage, or it may appear like some lesions and things like that. So best would be to have a monolithic system which can do everything without the need for a detachable modules. And all these are priced, at least Casey might talk about that, it will be priced as a single monolithic device for a single pricing mechanism. So all these we plan to provide as part of the generation that we are rolling out now. And 2021 we will see a mainstream rollout starting from January onwards. So you want to add anything, Casey?
Thanks, Venkat.
Yeah.
So there are few things which I want to add. So one thing is, when you buy a camera from us, it also includes training in Narayana Netralaya. So if you have a nurse or a technician whom you want to train, they will be trained physically. So the training part of it is completely covered in the cost. So the 17-18 lakhs which you'll pay for the normal one, and 22-23 lakhs you'll pay for the FFA one will include the training cost, except for you may have to bear the cost of travel and stay and food and other things for the person whom you are sending. Only thing is, we'll have to book a slot. We have been running these very, very regularly till March. During COVID, obviously, this almost came to zero because nobody was traveling, and again, probably we'll start. So the advantage is you will get trained under Dr. Vinekar's team, and they are subject to handling babies live. Initially, they observe, and then it's like a 2-week training which is integrated into this cost, so that you get a technician or a nurse who is fully trained. So that gives you a major advantage of knowing this. That is the first thing. The second thing, which is also very critical, is it comes in a simple kind of a suitcase. So if one doctor can buy one device and have, let's say, visit 3-4 neonatal centers, which he can actually, even it is in a suitcase where you can almost put it in a kinetic Honda, and the technician can drive and go, screen those 2-3 babies and go to the next center. So from a cost angle, it makes a lot of sense to do this. And this is what we have seen. A lot of retina doctors who are not ROP doctors, do this as a business model itself. And obviously, the universal screening, what Dr. Vinekar talked about, that is also possible. Now, the second, the HD version, the fluorescent angiography version, will be out in February or March. And if somebody wants to buy that, but want it today, we can actually give you our normal camera, which will cost less, and then you can upgrade it when it is available in March with the incremental value. So that flexibility is also available. And then obviously access to neonat, pediatric ophthalmologist, we can always suggest in the nearby places, or if they want to come to Bangalore, they can do. So all of those things are a possibility. The other important thing which we have got, and probably since this is a neonatology community, I wanted to throw this. So we have also made a digital application for patient-doctor counseling. So this is done primarily for ophthalmologists, and where, especially during COVID situation, and we also want to do it later for disease management, that a patient downloads the app. It's available right now on the Android platform, Google Store. It is available. So they can download the app and connect to an ophthalmologist, book an appointment, pay the fee, and then do the virtual consultation either by video or audio. Now we can also modify this tool if there is a need from many of you. if you want an ophthalmologist to consult the parents at some time once you have identified the problem for treatment, this could also be used as a tool for counseling. And when it will not be not only just showing the face, but more importantly, the doctor can actually show the image and tell them why it is important for them to come. So those are facilities, because we have got a full-fledged platform which we have gone digital. Those are things which also can be provided if there is a need. Of course, we need to work on that a little bit, but if there is a real need, we can work on that also. So this is what we have, and through GenWorks partnership, you have the connections, and you have the support, and GenWorks team will be able to kind of give you the support in the last mile, and we will be there to give support to them in terms of connecting to ophthalmologists, getting them trained, the neonatal nurses or the technicians trained in Narayan Nethralaya, and providing all these entire service. So I actually had mailed the presentation. If it's available, I can also virtually show them some of these pictures.
Anviti, did you receive the email? Because unless they see the video and image, the thing won't. Hello.
Whatever Dr. Vinekar showed, it is the same thing, sir.
Oh, same thing. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chandrasekhar, we have some doubts. Can we?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay, Chandrasekhar, I am your potential going to be a customer.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, but I didn't get you. What is that present digital one and later fluoro something you were telling, fluoroscopy?
Yeah.
What is that? Can you spell, please? And regarding that, can you just throw the light?
Sir, it is fluorescent angiography. So I'll be very clear. So typically, if let's say 100 cameras are sold, about 90 of them are normal screening cameras. 10 of them will be with fluorescent angiography. Okay. Why they do fluorescent angiography is after they have identified the baby has got a problem, they will inject the dye and then look at where the leak is to do laser. Okay. So that is a version which we have now integrated into our new camera. Right. But in the neonatology space, for screening level, it may not be required to have a fluorescent angiography one, because you are only screening, right? Because the doctor who is going to do the laser may want to have a fluorescent angiography, which he may bring at the time of doing laser. But if you still believe that we want that, that will be available sometime during March timeframe. And if somebody wants to buy it today, we can give the non-fluorescent angiography.
No problem. Commercial will come later. First, yes, about the machine.
Correct, sir.
Till now, more than 500 or 1,000 probably babies, we have done the screening. Later in that, around 20, 30 babies or 50 babies, we might have done the laser. But none of the people have used that fluorescence. They are just doing like that only.
Sir, that is... so it completely depends on doctor to doctor, sir. Some doctors are comfortable with doing laser directly based on what they see. Some doctors, especially when they are giving these anti-VEGF injections, they may want to have the fluorescent angiography done. So, end of the day, as a medical device provider, it is a feature which. That's why I said it is 10% of the people who ask, and that those are pediatric ophthalmologists who do specialized treatment. So that model is also there, and that is what Venkat was saying. This is in terms of specification.
Which dye you are using?
That is used by the doctor, sir. I'm not too sure about.
Number one, is there any complication with that dye? Because doing like that only is more better than injecting the dye and complication.
Yeah. It is definitely, sir. It doesn't work with every baby. Some can have some issues. That is why it is only a specialized pediatric ophthalmologist who do this. And this is more prevalent in the West. In India, not many people use it.
No. India prevalent. That is not the probably Chandrasekhar, I know that you might have done more work and Venkat is doing more inner work. But the thing is, probably they are doing like it's a point of care ultrasound or echocardiography. Where we need, really we need it. We are doing without that, it's not correct. If their leaking is there, if there is something there, they might throw the more laser that place. Probably there is something is there. Otherwise, why fluoroscopy would have been, you people would have been what?
No,
It's
no.
a good thing.
No.
Please.
It is required, sir. Basically, when you are giving laser, you are giving lasers in multiple spots. Okay. So in anti-VEGF injections, you are not giving laser initially, right? So we are giving an injection. So there they do fluorescent angiography to find whether the leak is much more grosser than what it is shown. So they try in the anti-VEGF phase. That is why. So in India, as Dr. Vinekar was saying, our people are got more expertise in doing lasers. So we do pretty much most of the, I would say like 90% to my knowledge, lasers are being done. Anti-VEGF is very limited. But if you look at places like Latin America, because the the ophthalmologists don't do much lasers, they try and use more anti-VEGF. And I think very recently, last year, there was some report, I think, which Novartis came up with, where the efficacy of anti-VEGF injections were kind of proven. So which probably may increase the number of anti-VEGF injections being used. So in that case, people may want to have fluorescent angiography.
Now, can Venkat, please, can we ask something?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Venkat, one more thing. You know, in the pediatric or neonate, I don't know about the adults, we do use some fluoroscopic light to find the vessel. If you'll change the two colors, whether it is artery or vein, we will come to know according to the wavelength. Like that, in your machine, I'm just curious to say, in your machine, whether venous torches or arterial torches, how much it is, whether it is only a wedge is there, means edge elevation is there, or more tortuous veins are there, or arteries are there. Can we find out in your machine like that? I have given the reference. I have told reference like that in your machine. How much tortuous is there? We can see very clearly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. So we don't have yet a measurement tool to measure the level of tortuosity, which we are doing now right now for adults, which will bring it also into the neonatal. But when we do the color fundus itself, we will know the tortuosity level, because if the vessels look very convoluted, we will be able to see that there is a lot of tortuosity, and particularly when the condition called plus disease happens, there will be a lot of extra blood vessel growth happening, which then kind of pulls down the starts tearing down the retina. So this is very clearly visible. Even the color fundus itself, we don't need even a fluorescein angiography. But the fluorescein angiography, it will be extremely clear, because anyway, blood, moment the dye enters the bloodstream, all those places get lit up.
No. Why I am asking Venkat? See, the same thing in other machine, some X machine, instead of injecting the dye, they are seeing in the two lights and they are integrating in the computer. So it will appear like a gray color and more dark light color. Means venous will be light color, arterial thickened one will be dark color. That we will know that how much tortuosity, whether edge is there, whether it is more tortuous, stage 1, stage 2, stage 10, A, B, C, like that. It is very no need to inject dye only. They will come to know very clearly where it is there. No, like a ghost appearance, gray color, like that one machine is giving in for other things, like a renal, like a heart, like a heart. When they will inject, how it will appear. Same thing. Without that, they are bringing it out. So you also people can try, because you are the masters. And one more thing, in your artificial intelligence, what you told, when the nurse or the doctor will try to do it, do you think it will show the stage and pre or post or whatever it is there, or whether it is a plus, everything it will give that diagnosis?
Yes, sir. Yes. The first version that we have running today is a binary classification. It just says ROP present absent. The one that we are working now will also tell the stage. What stage is the ROP and the provide that as an assistive input. It'll be able to tell.
Some at least some assistant like ECG
Yes.
is there. After taking the ECG, it will only show bundle
Yes.
branch plaque.
Correct.
So
It will
everything
show.
it will come artificial intelligence machine only will tell after reading it like that.
Yes. It will tell. It will tell what stage is the ROP or whether a plus has been found, and even other conditions also, like any other.
Once it is FDA approved, once it is approved, even because what Anand was telling, if you will do it, it's enough. But not only doing, I think so. At least machine will give the generation of that report. That is evidence for us. If any plus, then we should know when to refer, or every weekly we can ask them. If it is progressing, then we can call that is the reason. Otherwise, every time there is a monkey on the back, or like a Vikram or Bethal. Oh, what happens? What happens next week or something? It will be there. Fear will be there for the neonatologist. More than treating, that fear will kill him.
Yes.
Because usually doctors wants to shed their fear to the other doctors. If other doctor is coming and doing, it's not on his head. It is on ophthalmologist head. But here machine we bought and hospital owner, it's a pediatrician headache. There are so many things are there. No, you understand? No, physically when we are in the periphery, physically or when we are doing with the machine, that fear will be there always in the backside of the doctor.
Yes,
that artificial intelligence, once its printout comes, we are relieved. We have done it. This is the report. We have called within 1 week or 1.5 weeks or within 4 days. Then we have got it one. It's increased. Then we have called that. So when can we expect from you AI will be there?
AI, the comprehensive one, we are working with Vinekar now. I'm expecting we will be able to have it in about 3 months' time. The comprehensive one, the binary one, we already have a system running now, but we thought probably it's better to actually.
Actually, Casey was telling you can buy it, or you told Vicky you can buy it. Later we can increase the money and take back. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now come to the Casey regarding the funds.
Yes, sir.
So it might cost around 14 or 15, or I don't know how much you told. How much it will cost? Suppose if you will buy. So after that, if you want to buy that machine, is there like a car? Any depreciation is there?
No. So so there are two models what we have. So that is the Neo, which is the current one, and the Neo HD, which we are launching sometime in March. Okay, the Neo is somewhere in the 16-17 lakh range, and with GST, and the Neo HD will be somewhere about 20.
GST or without plus GST?
With GST.
With the GST around 15 to 16 lakhs. Okay.
16 to 17 lakhs, and the other one will be around 22 lakhs. Now, if you buy this machine now, the difference is, let's say, 5 lakhs. So once the machine is ready, you pay the 5 lakhs and we take back the old machine and give you a new machine.
So there is no depression. Okay. So very good.
Yeah.
No. Why I am asking? See, people are planning to start hospital. When the hospital will come, commercial thing will come. When commercial thing will come, everything GST also will add, everything will add.
Absolutely.
So do you see there is it is a platform of NNF. Really, if our doctors see government tender are giving somebody giving, that's okay. Government tender are giving, people are donating. They're having money, they will donate. Or corporate hospital to save this thing money, they will donate. If the periphery doctor is opening, in Bangalore, consultation is 600 rupees. Periphery is 60 rupees. Still, he is having courage to open neonatology. Still start. Bangalore also, you are giving 16 lakhs. Periphery also, if it is same, then how it is? Like a current. Bangalore also same commercial current. Periphery also same current. Even machine, if I'll buy same, there also, same here also. How can you help us? Because your purpose of making is this. Because motivation only we are losing. How can you help in the periphery doctors? Chandrasekhar.
So it's from an intention standpoint, definitely it is there, sir, because we have to help and we have to make it. But, from an overall standpoint, sitting here, there is a product, and the product has got a certain cost, and then there is an R&D, and we price it based on what we think is the right thing. Now, differentiating between, so for example, if I have the same argument, let's say tomorrow Aravind Eye Hospital asks me a question, why have you given it to me at a higher price? We were your main customers, let's say hypothetically. It is very difficult defending these based on certain geographies or things like that. So we can probably help you on, the only difference probably could be that we give, Aravind may pay us immediately. We will give you 3 months so that it can be stretched, or those kind of things is what we can adjust. But is there anything, or we can also help, connecting. There was a question you asked Dr. Vinekar. You can also write to Cognizant Foundation. Cognizant Foundation has been funding quite a few machines on CSR funding, which we ourselves got for some customers. There are certain criteria, but they generally support charity organizations. They don't support for profit. But if you can give a business case that in periphery this is lacking and marginally being charged, I think they will also support that. So those kind of connections we can help, which is definitely possible. So those are value adds we can bring. We can also connect you to Site Savers and Orbis, who can, or Vision, Public Health Foundation of India, PFHI. Public Health Foundation of India actually, through Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Trust program, bought more than 100 cameras. For the neonatal, about 30-40 cameras. So they can also be, some case study can be done at a neonatology level, because those were primarily done at the ophthalmology level. So maybe some of the neonatologists who are working in really periphery area with bringing down the cost, and if they can kind of make a business plan, definitely we can help them to reach some of these places and ensure that they get partially funded or even fully funded.
Yeah, Chandrasekhar, one last question for you. Whatever the people have asked us, I am just putting the question to you, because all the people are here who are there. Many people are there in this thing. They are going to see, because till now, whatever the Dr. Anand has told or you told, some people, all government funded the things. Trinetra is there, Trinetra or Trinetra, whatever you people tell. Okay, it is there. But I have seen not even one peripheral Karnataka hospitals, I heard, because before we give talk, we are requested many people.
पेरिसाइटिस है, एक दिन देख लो, नहीं तो फिर कोरोना की जांच कराएंगे. 2 दिन आज कल देख.
Prashant?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. I'm muted. Go ahead.
Okay. See, there are only like a finger counting, even in the finger counting in 5, 1, 2, 3. So I'm just requesting, because you have invented a great product from heart. I am telling you, actually, Venkat and you people have invented a great. I know that immediately nobody can make a money, but you have put a lot of funds pumped into that, and you might have given to some organization so much money for making it correct, and you might have taken the people out of them and giving the things, like I have seen in Singapore, going there and taking 1 day observation class. We have to pay a lot of money. You might be paying a lot of money to XYZ institutions for training the nurse or doctors. That's all inner side aspect. But in case if you are having something, our NNF organization, this platform will definitely recommend the government, because now we are attaching more strongly with the government and attaches to all the neonatologists. We can bring to the limelight at least once in a month about your product. I think so, Chandrasekhar, you will be knowing Dr. Dinakar, Neo Gurukul, you have shown in the uni.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think Anand Vinekar came. Chandrasekhar or Venkat, you people know, because I am your potential going to be customer in the next month.
Sure.
That is the reason. why I am asking is there are a lot of individuality will be there, but try to slightly make the money less and individually give them. It will be more better. It's only a request. That's
Sure.
it.
I will work with the GenWorks team and come back, sir. They will, we will work out and come back to you through you. We will inform all your colleagues, sir. Definitely.
No, yes. See, they are all very, very helping nature. Very good. Ganesh especially is a very good person. He's always service motto is there. If you come down the price, probably they might come down, because our organization will definitely help.
Sure.
In all over India, I will see that instead of giving 2-3 machines, we can give it around 10 machines per month or 10 machines per 6 months. At least we can sell it.
Sure.
Instead of 1-2. Only thing is price cost. Try to reduce, my dear.
We'll definitely work it out, sir.
Okay, over to Prashant. Any questions? Anybody?
Yeah. So now I request our delegates, if they have any question, you can kindly unmute and they can ask. I saw somebody had raised the hands earlier. Yeah. Any specific question anybody wants to ask? Yeah. I think because it was a straightforward topic.
And one more, Prashant, one last question to Venkat. He was telling it will stream lively. Lively means when we are doing the putting on the eyes, and that images what we capture we will send. Our live video we can send. Our lively we can send to the remote place doctor who is sitting telemedicine. We didn't understand that. Venkat?
Yeah. Yes, sir. So the telemedicine, it will capture. So what we have is, because normally 2 ways of capturing image is possible. One is you can capture by pressing some trigger and then capturing that. That is a very explicit way of doing. The other one is, because sometimes the babies don't cooperate because they are really small and premature. So we have some special mode where it records a complete video session, and the nurse or the person who's operating can decide to upload everything. Then everything will be uploaded to the remote doctor for assessment. So even though it is like video, but we capture it as individual images so that they can look at and then do that. For the fluorescein angiography, we have also added a complete video session capture. The entire fluorescein angiography will be captured as a video.
Venkat, see, many times tele echocardiography is there, that you know that very well.
Yes. Yeah.
So we will capture the image, we will capture the clip. Clip means video, we will send. However, 80% of the time, the remote doctor expert who is sitting, he will ask, no, that view I need it, this view you need it. So once again, we cannot call the patient back. He's sitting outside after wearing the shirt or whatever, the trousers, whatever it is.
Correct.
So then next patient will be there. So like that, it will become big headache in many hospitals. So when we are doing, what I am telling is, because I am the end user, I know what we are facing it. Even after all the images, whatever we are confirmed, still the expert will ask, no, okay, you get it, call them once again back, do it. But in the meantime, patient might have gone to the 4th floor, or patient might have gone to give the blood, or to the toilet, or for the canteen. Once again, call them, then take a video once again. So why can't you people just, it's a ideas, that's it. It's up to you people to take it or not to take it. Live, even when we are doing after the image and other things, in case if the doctor remote place sitting, if he can see the live, give a specific time to the doctor from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock we are doing. See, we are sending live also, can you see?
Okay, sir.
Like SpO2 monitor on the patient, we can see live in the video.
Okay.
SpO2, ECG, pulse wave, all those things we can see whatever it is going without any interruption, without any that haziness or cut. It is coming like a cameras. Olden type of camera, 2 MP and all, it will cut as if person is moves that side. Suddenly like a ghost, it will go that side. Old. Or if your internet is slow, without anything, it will come very clear, crisp, it will come. Like that, if you design something, the doctor, we can see immediately he will be advising us, go that way, go this way, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, focus it, something. It will be more better, I feel.
Okay, doctor. I understand what you're saying. So anyway, we are also working on a another teleconsultation app to which we can link this. So then the retina images can also be seen in real time. The session can be seen in real time if needed by the remote specialist. Only reason why we didn't enable these things is many times in the field we face issues with respect to bandwidth, because of which transmitting a video, good quality video, sometimes becomes problem. So we are forced to downgrade the quality. So instead we
Venkat,
focus
I'll
on.
give you one person address. He is having the beautiful things. I am sitting here. I can see the baby face very clear with the bandwidth and other. He from Germany. He has taken that technology and he is incorporating in his machine.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay,
That's
is
good.
It's not so expensive. It is good because since why I am asking so many things, I will become your potential customer. I will give you all the ideas. You can develop more than some things, so you can. I'll be keep on using all your technology.
Good, sir. It's very useful and interesting observation. I think we will start looking into this in the coming days, and I think it's certainly possible. It is not a it's not a very difficult thing to do. We will have to optimize on the video streaming related things. So which we will take it up in the coming year. Yeah.
All the best, Venkat. Please, very nice topic, K. Chandrasekhar. Very nice. And always NNF will support you people. You are doing a great job, service. Thank you. Over to Prashant.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank
you. Thank you, sir. So on behalf of NNF Karnataka, again, thank you one and all for your wonderful presentation, and keep serving the babies, and with your technology and innovation, you're helping doctors and all the patients and babies across India, and now we have gone global as well. Congratulations for that. And as Dr. Dinakar sir rightly said, there are many kids who needs this because of the financial constraints. There might be some hiccups, and you've already given few solutions as well and few suggestions. Thank you for your wonderful session, and we'll catch up again in next coming. We have few more sessions left in with this particular web series of Big Dreams and Small Miracle, making a doctor an entrepreneur, and setting up a better health infrastructure with the right set of knowledge in terms of investment, in terms of utility, in terms of maintenance. So there are a few more topics which are left, which we'll be covering, and then we'll come up with other new innovative web series in the coming days. There are a few sessions which are left, which will catch up in coming Wednesday and Sunday. Thank you one and all. Have a great Wednesday evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Genworks. Thank you,
Mr.
Chandrasekhar. Thank you, Ganesh ji. Thank you, Anviti. And